The smell of bleach filled the empty hallway of the naval training base as the night shift janitor pushed his mop along the waxed floor, his reflection rippling in the soapy water beneath his feet. The laughter of young recruits echoed from a distance, mixed with the faint hum of fluorescent lights. To them, he was invisible, a man in a faded blue uniform, sweeping their mess, collecting their trash. But if they had looked closer, they would have noticed the way his posture straightened when he passed the SEAL insignia on the wall, as if some deep memory stirred within him. His name tag read Daniel Carter, but years ago, men had known him by another name, a name whispered in the dead of night, over radios crackling with gunfire. A name that once carried both fear and respect: Lone Eagle. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength of good people, then please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Because this story isn't just about who someone once was, but who they choose to be when the world forgets them. For Daniel, life had once been about missions, codes, and brothers in arms. He was a Navy SEAL, one of the best, the kind of man who volunteered for the impossible. But war takes its toll, not just on the body, but on the soul. His last mission, one that went horribly wrong, cost him more than just his career. It cost him his brothers. It cost him his peace. When his wife passed away not long after, leaving behind a 6-year-old boy named Eli, Daniel hung up his uniform for good. He traded the ocean's roar for the squeak of a mop bucket, and the sound of gunfire for his son's quiet laughter. He took the janitor job at the naval base not because it paid well, but because it gave him access to something familiar, a place where discipline and order still meant something. He swept the same hallways where new heroes were being built, the same floors where his boots once thundered during training. He didn't mind the stares or the whispers. The young recruits saw a tired man with rough hands and a limp. They didn't see the medals tucked away in a drawer or the folded flag he kissed every Memorial Day. To them, he was just the janitor. Then came the day that would change everything. It was inspection day, when the base commander, Admiral James Holloway, a man known for his iron spine and colder heart, made his rounds. Daniel was cleaning the corridor near the command office when the admiral walked by, surrounded by officers. His polished shoes clicked sharply against the floor as his gaze caught Daniel's worn mop and gray-streaked hair. With a mocking grin, he said to the others, "Careful, men. We've got a warrior here." "What's your call sign, janitor?" the officers chuckled. For a second, Daniel wanted to ignore it. He'd learned long ago to let the insults pass, but something, maybe the memory of his fallen brothers or the pride that never truly dies, made him stop. He stood tall, looked the admiral in the eye, and said quietly, "Lone Eagle, sir." Laughter died instantly. The admiral froze mid-step. The corridor went silent. Everyone noticed the change in his face, the way the color drained, the way his lips parted in disbelief. Because Lone Eagle wasn't just any name. It belonged to a legend, the SEAL who, according to classified reports, had single-handedly held off an ambush in Kandahar, saving an entire team when their position was compromised. The same Lone Eagle who vanished from service records after the mission, presumed dead. And now, that ghost was standing in front of him, holding a mop. For the first time, the admiral saluted first. "Permission to speak freely, sir?" Daniel asked softly, lowering his eyes. Holloway nodded slowly. Daniel continued, his voice trembling but strong. "We all make choices. Some of us stay in the fight, some of us choose peace. I've got a boy to raise now, that's my mission." Then, without another word, he turned back to his mop and continued cleaning. Word spread like wildfire across the base. Recruits who once ignored him now stood straighter when he passed. Some saluted him quietly, unsure if it was appropriate. For Daniel, nothing really changed. His paycheck was still the same, his nights still quiet, but something inside him began to heal. The burden he carried for years started to lift as he realized that even if the world forgot him, honor wasn't something others could take away. A few days later, the admiral found him again, this time not to mock but to offer something, a folded letter with the Navy seal on top. It was a reinstatement offer, an honorary recognition for service never officially recorded. But Daniel smiled and shook his head. "Sir, I'm where I'm supposed to be." Holloway hesitated, then nodded respectfully. "Then the Navy owes you more than a medal, Lone Eagle. It owes you gratitude." Life slowly found new meaning. Daniel began helping recruits in secret, offering quiet advice, showing them how to tie the perfect knot, how to read the wind before a jump. He never boasted, never told them who he was, they just called him Mr. Carter. But they listened like soldiers listening to a legend. And when young men graduated, they often left him small tokens, a coin, a letter, a whispered thank you, signs that they knew the truth and honored it. Eli, his son, often waited outside the base gates after school, his backpack almost as big as him. Daniel would scoop him up, their laughter echoing across the parking lot. Once, Eli asked, "Dad, why do they call you Lone Eagle?" Daniel paused, looking into his son's innocent eyes. "Because sometimes, buddy, you fly alone so others can make it home." That night, as Daniel watched his boy sleep, the medals hidden in the drawer no longer felt like weights. They were memories, reminders that even broken wings can still shelter someone else. He realized he didn't need the uniform anymore. He was still a protector, still a fighter, just for a different kind of mission. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share it so more people remember that heroes don't always wear medals. Sometimes they carry mops, raise children, and keep their honor quietly alive. And before this story ends, drop a comment below. Speech balloon, respect to every unsung hero who still stands tall in silence. Because in a world that often celebrates noise, it's the quiet ones like Lone Eagle, whose echoes never fade.